Hi guys, it's Tammy from Shrinking Violet DS, and today is Tuesday. I really should look up the dates before I start these things. I can't remember. It's March, 17th was Saturday, 18th, 19th, 20th. It's Tuesday, March 20th, 2018. And I come to you in another post-massage video. Why do I do this to myself? I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to come and say hi. And I still haven't done my 1 year thingy yet. Working on it. It's just a matter of getting the time to just sit there and work on it, which is a tough thing. But I was reading some Instagram stuff, and I was watching Instagram stories and watching some YouTube, and I was noticing that there are a lot of newer post WLS people out there who kind of have questions about the quote-unquote rules that we're given when we have surgery. And so I thought I would just take a little bit of time and go over some of the rules that I was given and whether or not I follow them. I'm not doing my spiel today because this isn't really a weight loss update, and I haven't weighed myself. And I'll talk about that towards the end of this too, because I have some thoughts on that. But one of the recent questions was about carbonation and how we're never supposed to drink a carbonated beverage again. Personally, I do. I didn't for, I would say probably 4 months after surgery, and then I would have a little bit of sparkling water. And I prefer sparkling water, and I find it easier to get all my fluids in if I'm allowed to drink it. And I don't gulp it. But I do. That's normally what I drink. I either drink sparkling water or I drink vitamin water, and that's how I get all my fluids. I don't have any problem, and I understand that you know, the doctors say, oh well, you could stretch out your pouch and all of this, and it is a weird thing that it's after surgery. I don't know about you guys, but I couldn't burp. It just wasn't physically possible. I can a little bit now, but really still no, not like I could before. But if you don't gulp, I personally don't find that I feel like I need to expel that air. So I do drink carbonation. Again, like I said, 4 months is when I started. Some of you may not ever be able to. Some of you may be able to do it sooner. I now also will drink diet sodas occasionally, and I will drink champagne. More than occasionally. I drink that pretty much every evening. I have a glass of champagne. Which brings me to the next one, which is alcohol. Again, I didn't drink alcohol for, I would say, probably 6 months after surgery. And spirits I didn't drink for probably 8 to 9 months after surgery. And I still don't drink spirits very often. I will have the occasional martini, but I bet you in the last year since surgery, I've had 2, 3 martinis. And I used to be able to do that at dinner. But now I am mostly wine and champagne. But I do find that alcohol hits me much more quickly and in much smaller quantities. I always had a really high alcohol tolerance before, probably because I had so much I really haven't been drinking now, even though I sound like it. Probably because I had so much body fat before. I would say that's probably the main reason I had such a high alcohol tolerance. My tolerance is not high now. After, you know, 1 glass of champagne, I feel a little bit. After 2, definitely. 3, I would say that I am not tipsy, but buzzy, I suppose. With spirits, after 1, I'm like, yeah, that's good. I'm happy. So again, all of these, and this goes for every single one that I'm going to tell you. I'm not saying that you guys should do this. I'm just saying that this is what I do and this is how I do it. NSAIDs. Ruthie from Mystery Guest 1948 was just saying that she had a headache over the weekend and didn't know what to do because she can't take Tylenol, and she was accustomed to taking Advil or Aleve, but was told she couldn't take those after surgery. I looked into this because for me, Advil is the only thing, even Aleve doesn't help me. Advil is the only thing that will help me if I get a headache. And so I did look into it, and most of what I could find was aimed at Roux-en-Y people and lap band people, and saying that, you know, it could cause marginal ulcers and that they couldn't be scoped, and so it was a bad idea. For de-essers and sleevers, you can be scoped. You can have a gastroscope, and you know, you're not tied off. Nothing's odd about getting from your esophagus down into your stomach. So that's not a problem. Also, the other thing is that personally, I'm not prone to ulcers. Some people are. I'm not. I've never had one, and I rarely will take a medication on an empty stomach. I usually make sure that I have something very fatty in my stomach first. So I'm not prone to ulcers. I don't have a pouch. And lastly, I don't take them that often. I will take them whenever I have a headache, which I have fewer headaches than I used to, for one thing. But, you know, probably not even once a week, maybe once a month. Or I may end up taking, you know, if my back is out or something like that and I need to reduce the inflammation on that to help it go back in, I will take Advil for 2 or 3 days and then I'm done. So it's not like I'm taking handfuls of Advil every day for weeks on end, or even 2 Advil every day for weeks on end. I take it as needed, and personally I've not had any problem with it so far. I think I would be more miserable if I tried to go without it, because for me, my headaches just won't go away without it. My headaches are usually stress related and in my neck, and so reducing that inflammation is crucial. So I do take them, and I've not yet, knock on wood, not yet had a problem. What else? Drinking with lighting just went weird. Oop, gosh, I don't know why. Sorry. Drinking, not alcohol, but just drinking when you eat or before or after you eat. At first, so I had the 30-30 rule. I wasn't supposed to drink for 30 minutes prior, and I wasn't supposed to drink for 30 minutes after eating. And even then, just small sips. I had a really hard time with that because my mouth would get dry while I was eating. But I did find that at first I could not. I was miserable and would throw up if I drank too soon before or while I was eating or too soon after I was eating. It was just miserable. So I would set a timer, and I needed all of that time for my stomach not to be upset for me mixing food and liquids. But eventually I got to where I could take little tiny sips while I was eating just to wet my mouth, and almost it was just more to moisten the food. Now I can drink and eat with impunity. It's not a problem at all. I don't drink huge amounts. I used to drink a ton of water or diet soda or whatever, iced tea, while I was eating. I mean, I would go through 5-6 glasses easily in a meal. Big glasses of carbonated beverages. Now, if I finish one, it's pretty unusual. Today, for some reason, I was very thirsty, and so I went out to lunch with my mother, and we had fish and chips, and I got salmon that was in a spicy rice flour batter, and then jalapeno tartar sauce. And it had salt in it and stuff. And so it did make me thirsty. And I ended up having 3 glasses of soda, which I was just astounded. Now, they weren't big glasses. They probably equaled 1.5 of the large, like, restaurant glasses. But that was a lot for me. That's really unusual. But I don't feel any adverse reactions whatsoever to it. So that definitely is something that I had to pay attention to at first. Or else I was really a sad bunny. But now it's kind of, I've grown out of that, I guess, or my body has matured out of it, healed out of it, something. So I don't have that problem anymore. Exercise. So this one's really weird because you get different, with all of them, you get different recommendations from different surgeons. My surgeon didn't have any recommendations on exercise. But personally, I felt unable to exercise. I felt like all my energy was being used up just losing weight. And I felt like I wasn't getting enough calories to support exercise and weight loss at the same time. And so I made a conscious decision not to exercise for the first 6 months and then revisited after that. And so at that point, I still felt like, no, I was still losing weight just fine. I felt healthy. And so I decided to keep going the way I was going and not exercising and just losing weight through diet. And that's what I've done through my whole year. I recently, for those of you who follow me on Instagram, I recently signed up last week for a program called Legree Fitness. And it is described as Pilates on steroids. It works on a machine that is similar to a Pilates reformer, but it's bigger, it's lighter, it has more adjustments. It's called a Megaformer. And instead of Pilates where you do a bunch of reps and then you rest, with Legree Fitness, you do fewer reps, much more slowly and much more controlled, and you don't rest at all. It's a 45-minute class because one of the main things is that it's so intense you don't have to go for the whole hour. It's for people who are busy. And so I've signed up for that. So I went Sunday for a class called Lunge and Learn to learn how to use that machine, because it's a group class, and when you go in, there's just no time to learn. So I went to this Lunge and Learn, and it was 45 minutes, and she talked for probably 30 of those minutes, and we worked out for 15. The next day, I felt like I had been beat with a stick. Oh my gosh. There was literally not a muscle in my body that didn't feel, that I couldn't feel. It was amazing. And so I've signed up for 3 months, and I'll be taking 15 classes a month. So I have started, or will start, if you don't count that Lunge and Learn, I will start tomorrow on an exercise program. Now, I know some bariatric surgeons say that exercise is critical. After you heal, you should begin an exercise program right away. For me, I don't think I could have. I just don't think I could have supported exercise and weight loss at the same time. Now that I can eat more, I can get more calories in, and my weight loss has slowed down significantly, I feel like I can. And I don't regret not exercising for that year. I don't regret that at all. I think it was the right thing to do for me. So that one's a tough one. They're all, they're all very personal, but that one really is. If you find that you're trying to exercise and not losing weight, that's pretty unusual, and it could be that your body just isn't ready for that yet. Losing weight takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot of energy, and your body's already working hard at that. So just kind of keep that in mind. Don't push yourself too much. You'll know, I think, when it's time to add that in. for me, I had said earlier that I hadn't weighed and that I had thoughts on that, and that's true. So I had said that I had decided finally that my ultimate weight goal was 120 pounds. And I'm 134 now, at least I was last time I looked. I'm 5'4" and I weigh I'm 47 years old, and I have small bones. And so I'm a pretty small person. Even at 134 pounds, I look fairly small. I'm in an extra small top for most, extra small petite for most tops. And then for pants, I'm a 4 or a 6. And in skirts, a 2 or a 4. And I still haven't had any plastic surgery yet, so I've got all that loose skin too. So I had said that 120 was my ultimate goal. And in my head, I still think it is, but I'm almost wondering if I subconsciously haven't decided that maybe I'm okay where I am, because I no longer feel that push to lose that weight. I was always a daily weigher. Now I forget to get on the scale, or maybe I remember and then I think, oh yeah, I'll do it later. It's not a compulsion anymore for me to know how much I weigh or to know how much I've lost. I eat more than I ever have. I've always eaten a lot, but so for lunch today I had fish and chips, and the batter that I have on mine is like this really, really thin coating. It's almost more of a shell than a batter, and it's not the big puffy beer batter stuff. This is, it's just like a millimeter thick at the most. And so I had that, and I had 8 ounces of fish, and I just had them leave the French fries off of my plate entirely. My mother got fish and chips too, and I had a couple of her French fries, and I gave her my salad. So all I really ate was the 8 ounces of fish and then 2 containers of jalapeno tartar sauce. So really it was all very good for me, but it was still 8 ounces of fish. That's a lot of fish. And there was a time when I wouldn't have let myself eat that much fish. It was salmon. So, it's good, high quality protein. But now I don't find that I don't police myself the way I used to. And I find that I'm letting things sneak by or sneak into my diet much more easily. I'm not as strict as I was. And so I can't decide if I'm tired of policing myself, if I'm just falling back into old habits, or if my body's just saying, you know what, it's good, we're happy here, we're done, maintain. And I had always said that my body would tell me when I was ready to maintain. And so I'm wondering if it's telling me that and I'm just not listening. So I think that for the next couple of weeks, I'm really going, well, I say that, but Easter's coming up. There's always something coming up, isn't there? Maybe between now and Easter, I'm just going to kind of see if I can get myself back to weighing daily, and if that makes a difference. I don't know. Have any of you who are close to goal or who have already been at goal, how did you realize? Did you set an arbitrary number? I had always resisted doing that, and then I set this arbitrary number, and now I'm thinking, well, it is an arbitrary number, and so do I make myself stick to that, or do I just kind of go with my body? And is it my body, or is it just my mind being lazy? I don't know. That's a tough one, guys. Anyway, other weight loss rules. Oh, the straw. I don't know where the heck that came from. Well, I do know where it came from. So somebody said, oh, well, if you drink from a straw, you're going to get more air in. That is so not true. You do not get any more air, in my opinion. For me, I don't get any more air in with a straw than I do with a glass. It's not like I've got my straw outside the drink and all of a sudden I'm you know, just sucking up air and gulping it down. So if you find that you can drink better with a straw and you're going to get your fluids in, that's what I do. Sometimes I use a straw, sometimes I don't. Just depends. Sometimes I use a straw with carbonation and break all the rules. Caffeine. Seems like we have a lot of rules about what we can drink. You know, carbonation, caffeine, alcohol. But anyway, so caffeine. I drink caffeine. I will drink coffee every morning. I have a protein coffee. I have not become one of those people who all of a sudden is just absolutely addicted to coffee and my whole life is about coffee. It wasn't before and it's not now. I like iced coffee, and so I will use my Keurig to make a coffee the night before, let it cool down, stick it in the fridge, and then the next morning I just pour full Premier Protein in there, and it's easy for me to drink while I'm getting ready for the day. So I find that really good because I know you're not supposed to count coffee towards your fluids, but whatever. I drink enough that I don't have to worry about it. And it gets the protein in. It gets me started off right. So for me, again, I don't worry about caffeine. I don't feel any different when I drink it or when I don't drink it. I don't drink a lot of it, like I said, 1 cup a day. So yeah, you just got to go with your own gut on that one. I think that's it. Are there other rules? Can you guys think of any other rules that maybe you're curious about? You know, if you're new or if you're old and thinking about changing something, or you have a rule that you've found helpful. Maybe there's some that I should try or I should follow that I not yet. If so, let me know. I am absolutely open to any of them. My biggest rule that I would give to newbies is be really strict with yourself at first. It takes a long, long time for your guts to heal entirely and to stop swelling. You know, think about if you have foot surgery. The surgeon will tell you it takes 6 months at least for that foot to stop swelling. Your guts are no different. It takes a long time. And your guts every day are having, you know, people say, well, you're walking on your foot. Every day you're putting stuff into your guts and they're working hard. And you will find that after about 6 months, it's a whole new game. So just remember, before you reach that 6 month, really be strong and be gentle with your body. Try not to push it too hard. Give it what it needs, a little extra TLC. And I think that you'll be happy you did. Don't try and hit the ground running, so to speak. All right, you guys, I'm off to get my nails done because they're a travesty. And I will talk to you later.